25-17, a resolution authorizing the county mayor to initiate the physical transition and move of the Hamilton County Recovery Court from their current offices at the MLK Building on Oak Street to the East Annex Building at 8395 Hickory Valley Road.
Thank you. Would y'all like to weigh in on this move?
Yes, sir. I'll just introduce the folks who will go over a very brief presentation about the proposed move.
Please keep it under 10 minutes.
Yes, sir. Under 10 minutes. We have Judge Christy Sell, the Director of Recovery Court, Shannon Morgan, and our Director of Property Management, Mike Kirk.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mike Kirk, Director of Property Management, 4005 Cromwell. I'll just say on my behalf, this has kind of been a work in progress that started just within weeks after me arriving on in Public Works there. I've been able to work with Becca and Shannon, exceptional programs. An opportunity we think we have to provide a facility that we already own, get them in a space that they can set up and do an incredible work. And so again, we've looked at probably up to 11 or 12 different properties around town trying to find a space that would work for them, and we think we've got a good option here with East Annex that is now available. So I'll step aside and
one thing, Mr. Kirk, I'm not interrupting your time, but all the major mechanical issues on this building have been resolved, right? Where you're talking about moving it to?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
All right. I believe that you'll have already seen some of the background information, so I won't be repeating a lot of it. These slides will be made available to you. I believe Mike talked a bit about the history, how we arrived at this point. I'm just going to give some high-level bullet points of the important work that Recovery Court has done, which I know that has been presented to you before, so I will keep it brief. But of course, representatives from Recovery Court are here to talk about their work, its successes, the importance of having a space that is high functioning for them, their staff, and the clients that they serve. So this is a slide that you've seen before, so I'll go through it very quickly. The Recovery Court team is really good with the information and the data that they have. I think this is a really good snapshot of breaking down the program costs that are utilized in serving these clients, and a little cost-benefit analysis around the average daily cost per individual for if they're in Recovery Court versus if they are incarcerated. This is a pretty heavy slide. I know you have viewed this one before, but this gives a really good snapshot of the yearly reports and the success rates for the clients that are served in Recovery Court. And then the last one gives us a snapshot of the success of recidivism. So our national recidivism rates at 66%, and those involved in our felony and sessions recidivism rates at 17 and 10%. I figured I'll yield the rest of the time for any specific questions that may have arisen. I know we breezed through those slides that Mike can address, or Chief Roddy, Shannon, or myself.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any lights on? Coach?
Thank you. I cannot tell you everything I've seen about Recovery Court is so positive. Judge, anything that you want, I will do my best to get. I've known the judge since she was a cheerleader in high school, so she's always been positive for the community, but thank you for your leadership in this.
Commissioner Sharp?
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. I've always been a big supporter of Recovery Court, and I appreciate the work that is done there. Very much so. I know we've been looking for a space for this for a very long time now, like since, I don't know, 2020 probably. So I'm glad that we have a space now. I do have a couple questions about the space because I think that the reduction in recidivism for this program is, well, for one, it's great. You guys did great work there, but I want to make sure that we're continuing in that path. So does this location have public transportation access? Like, how do the participants get to and from this location?
And I'll hand that off to Chief Roddy to give a very brief answer on with Shannon and Mike.
Yes, sir, Commissioner. So we've been in negotiations, and that's a strong word, with CARTA and explored other options. We figured the best approach in the beginning, and as Shannon has explained as our SME within DRC, that the phase needs of the participants, our clients, differ between phases 1, 2, 3, and 4. And as they move through the program, those needs for transportation tend to diminish as they spend more time in the program and achieve the benchmarks set forward by the judges and the program itself. So the first 2 periods that they're in the program is when we want to make the most options available to them, which could represent everything from bus stops in the area to passes in the CARTA Go program, which is basically a rideshare program that CARTA does that can be app-based, making it available for them in that area. I know personally that a lot of our participants currently use existing rideshare programs such as Uber and Lyft. We are looking into this next coming budget because this is going to take a little while. We do have some renovations on the building. There's time for moves and everything else. Having a potential van set up through drug recovery court itself with part-time driver employees, similar to what alternative sentencing uses in the model, so that we can provide our own ride options for the individuals and they can elect to do it. Oftentimes, we often see the clients, they give each other rides, which is kind of the communal aspect of what sees success in the program. All of that being said, the one thing that is in a lot of the conversations that we have is the program is not designed to remove every single barrier that the clients may face. Part of the success of the program is their abilities to just work through what life presents. So when they get out of the program, not only have they achieved the benchmark set forward through the program specifically itself, but those challenges that we all face every day, such as how do we get around? How do we pay our bills? How do we feed our families? So as they work through those components together, we want to give them options, but we don't want to remove every single barrier that they may have. We just work to see that they're successful. So we're outlining all of those possible options now. So as we move through the potential physical renovations to their structure itself at the East Annex, some carpet, paint, other things that are just the cosmetics of the building, we have all of those questions answered, as well as we're able to provide support in many different options that are nuanced to what that individual's needs are as we move DRC to its new location.
Okay, so I guess that means we don't have public transportation available right now, but that we're going to be working on some options to help provide additional transportation for participants as we get closer to the point in time when we open the new facility.
Yes, sir. We will have transportation options, multiple ones available to them. In the conversations with CARTA, to place a new bus stop on that is cost prohibitive according to CARTA.
Okay. Okay. When do we anticipate moving into the space?
Commissioner, I would expect that once we get if we get a commitment on this resolution and the move, we've got folks lined up immediately to start working on the facility. I think we're talking about at earliest late May, early June.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So come late May, June, when we move into the space, will we have like a document that outlines, and I don't know who to ask the question to, but a document that outlines transportation options for those that do not have transportation or resources for Uber?
All of the supporting mechanisms that the program provides, not just transportation, but everything, will be included in the standard orientation package for our clients. It'll change relative to what those needs are and what those options are based on the new location.
That's great. So when that document is ready, if you guys would share that with the commission, I'd be grateful. Thank you. Thank you, Chairman.
Do we have any more lines? Commissioner Beck?
Mr. Chairman, do we provide any transportation for them now?
Could y'all speak to that?
Currently, we are on the bus line, so the majority of our clients early in the program are using the bus. And we are not providing currently any sort of transportation stipends or anything like that.
Okay, but we will be having an extra bus stop put out there as well. Is that what I heard?
No,
Later
sir.
on?
No, sir. We won't be able to get a bus stop at the location itself. What we're working towards is figuring out the next step link between existing bus stops that CARTA does have in the Hickson area, where we may work towards passes on their CARTA Go program, or we could work towards, and it's in the proposal package, our own van, which could provide that next step link for transportation. And oftentimes we see the participants, they take care of that themselves. They either ride with other participant members, they have their own transportation. So we don't want to design so many solutions until we have a complete grasp on in each phase what the problems actually are. But we're working to design kind of an à la carte response to what the clients could present with the move.
Absolutely. Mr. Chairman, if I may, a van to provide a van from what point to what point from there?
That's to be seen based on the client. So if they're getting dropped off at different bus stops or set locations or ride share, we may not need it at all. But that's what we want to do from a PTE, a part-time employee stance, is have the van ready, and then it can be used as it's needed based on what the clients present. And then those needs diminish as they go through the program and new clients come on. So we don't want to design a solution based on a set plan or set stops, because where our clients live or are coming from could very well change from month to month to month based on what their transportation needs are. And they'll communicate that within the program.
Well, does a bus go out Hickory Valley Road out to 58 Highway now? Is that Hickory Valley or?
Yes, sir, it's Hickory Valley. I'm not sure what the
do we have a
closest one
bus that
is.
goes out that way now?
There's one that goes out towards, but it doesn't, up towards 58, but it doesn't continue all the way up. But that's what we would work towards, that gap protection, either through the CARTA Go program or our van.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Graham?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Are you all satisfied with this move? Are you all satisfied with the possibility of being up there?
Yes, I mean, we have apprehensions about the transportation issue, but we've been working closely and are being assured that, you know, we will be looking into some sort of support with that. I think for us, we do need a space that is standalone. We have grown so much. We have about 90 participants now, and we do in-house treatment. So we have, you know, treatment all throughout the day. They're with us all week long. And we have really are bursting at the seams and, you know, kind of need a space that's a little bit more individualized for them, somewhere that they can go, they can, you know, have activities. And I think that as far as the building goes, it is a perfect building for us. It is far away. I mean, that's the only part of the situations that's less than ideal. I do know that, you know, we have spoken with the GEM Prince Human Matt Falls, and he has offered to let us use the Park and Recs van that, you know, so that might be an option for us as well when we do need that. And we're very grateful always to him, because every time we ask for anything, he always says yes. So thank you. And, you know, hoping to, again, looking for some drivers. If we can get that in place, we can be picking folks up from, you know, CARTA stations and bringing them in. That would make it very much ideal for us. And
So-
like Chief said, you know, we do have some participants that live closer to that area than they do currently here with us as well. So for some, it is actually decreasing some of the travel time.
So other than the transportation issue that you're working on, right, that there's definitely going to be some kind of solution for, other than that transportation issue, it sounds like you're very excited about this building and this move.
We're very excited and we're extremely grateful.
And if I could ask, Judge, are you cool with this building? Well, thank you for championing this court. It's really important, and I'm glad to see somebody of your caliber that's driving the train here. Mr. Chairman, I'll be supporting this next week, excitingly. I mean, I'll be excited to support this next week. But after this discussion is over, I might plant a bug in your ear. I know that these ladies and the judge is very important, very busy people. So if they're not needed next week, I mean, if you feel confident that they're not needed next week, answering questions or whatever, we might not require them to be here for the actual vote if you feel good about it. Just a suggestion. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. Do we have any more lights?
We do. I got one question and then Mr. Sharp's got a follow-up, I guess. The parking's in the rear. Are we going to look at fencing? Or is there anything like that as far as safety? I know I sit and I look at Chief in the back and I used to go to line up in that particular building and get there and it's dark. And then when you leave, it's dark.
Well,
And it's all at Hickory Valley. There's not like there's things around it. I mean, there's a wooded area behind it. Judge said, for me, safety and security, and it's not a huge parking lot. So
we do have plans to have security guard there as well for us, the same as we have now where our current space is at the MLK building. So there will be security. Right now, we are parking in the same parking lot as our participants as well, so that won't actually change for us. But they are installing cameras and things like that in the parking lot as well, so.
Commissioner Sharp?
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. Sometimes I feel like when you ask questions, people think you're opposed to something. I'm not opposed to this by any means. I just want to make sure that we continue with the success that we've had. And emphasize where there needs to be emphasis. Is there any data regarding this programming as to when we have failures, where most of them occur? Like in the time that they're in the process, in the program? Is it early on in the program when the most failures occur, or is it later on in the program?
We struggled with a very high absconsion rate actually between 2021 and 2022 when I first got here. We've actually decreased that absconsion rate. If I can actually put this slide back. So we were struggling with about a 44% absconsion rate in our misdemeanor recovery court in 2022. And that dropped off a bit, but you can see our current absconsion rate is 6%. And what was happening for the most part is our participants were running before we even really had a lot of time to work with them. And so we changed quite a few of our program policies. We brought in a program navigator who was able to work with them very closely on, make sure that they had housing set up immediately upon release or inpatient treatment, and was doing more extensive orientation. And that really decreased our absconsion rate, as well as having participants come and watch a recovery court docket before they pled into the program, so they could kind of see what they were signing up for. They could see that the judges were actually wonderful and kind, and the participants were comfortable and doing well. And I think that made them feel a little bit more comfortable coming into the program. So I can really, attest for that being one of the reasons that we've had such a huge decrease. Brittany Baldwin is here with me. Was our program navigator, is now moving into a coordinator role, but she has done an amazing job at kind of making sure that folks are, getting that warm handoff.
Yeah, for sure. I guess maybe and thank you for that answer. I think my question was like, if they're in the program for how long? What's the
18 months minimum.
18 months. At what point during that 18 months do you see most people fall out of the program?
Usually the first 90 days.
The first 90 days. And I think that's the kind of the point I was trying to make is, it's the folks when they first get started in this program, they're most vulnerable. And, during that period of time, having transportation is kind of a big deal. And from how far is this location from the nearest bus stop? Do we know?
It's 2 miles, I believe.
2 miles.
1.2 miles.
1.2 miles. I mean, that's a long ways in the rain for, someone who's really struggling. I know at some point in time, we all have to grab ourselves by the bootstraps, right? But sometimes it's easier than others. Oftentimes, easier for some people than other people when you're really struggling like this. I just want to be cognizant of that because you guys have had such great success. I would hate to see us go backwards. So if we can, really emphasize, put our attention on how we can ensure that people get where they need to get, that would be of utmost importance with this move in my mind. And I'm glad you guys are getting some new facilities that better support your programs. I just hope that we can get people there. Thank you for putting all this together, and I do look forward to supporting the resolution. I just want to make sure that, we're doing all we can to help these folks succeed so that they're not back in our jails and they can be productive citizens moving forward. Thank you. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much for the presentation, and I think I can speak on all of our behalf. We're committed to helping this program continue to be a success, regardless of what obstacles we approach. Just let us know what you need. We'll do what we can. Thank you. No, I don't think there's any need for y'all to come back. Your time's very valuable. We appreciate you being here today. For 25-18.
Resolution 425-18, a resolution to approve the firm of Tinker Ma LLC for design of the Gateway Career Technical Education Building renovation.
Is there anyone who can speak on this? Mr. Lehman still here? No. Mr. Witt? Give your name and address, sir.
Yes, sir. Justin Witt, Director of Facilities for Hamilton County Schools and 2501 Dodds Avenue. So this is following our architect selection process. We're recommending Tinker Ma for the renovation of the bottom floor of the Gateway Center. As you know, we've had a big push in CTE programs throughout the district. So this is an effort to fill that void in the downtown area. So approximately 40 to 50,000 square foot renovation for a CTE space and updating some fire lines and some other additional fire code issues that will have to roll into this project as well. So with that, if approved next week, our next step in the process, we'll bring an actual negotiated contract back to you for approval as well.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Shipley? You have your light on? Is it Commissioner Sharp? Mr. Sharp?
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. Justin, as we're hiring an architect and I'll support this resolution too, to design this project, do we have any specific programs yet that they'll be designing for?
So, I mean, in our design process, typically you have number one, program, schematic, design development, and construction documents. So that's step number one. An architect on board, review the existing space, and then that's going to be critical in this space is programming of what type of CTE programs that they would like. So we typically bring the education side in because that will really affect the infrastructure of what we need to provide in the design.
Okay, so we'll figure out the programming soon. I
Correct.
suppose. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Thank you.
We need to bring the education side into this conversation.
Gotcha. Thank you, Chairman. Thanks, Justin.
Do we have Commissioner Graham?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And that was a great question, Commissioner. I have extended an offer and I'll do it again. I'll be happy. I was part of the selection team. I was part of the architecture selection team. And I would be happy. We talked a lot about the Pi Center in Cleveland. And it's a great facility that I feel like, I mean, several of you may have already been there, but since we're building one ourselves, it might be a great opportunity for us all to go up there and get some fresh ideas and convey them with the school system. So I will still try to put that together. If anybody, if there's enough interest, I'll still put that together to take a quick tour of that facility in Cleveland. But again, and that was a great question, Commissioner, but this is just the beginning. So this is just trying to get an architect on board so we can put all the things together to what they have to design. But I would highly recommend that tour. Thank you.
All All right, no more lights. Mayor, would you like to weigh in?
I'll just add something. I think Tucker was telling me that on Monday of this week, y'all got an invitation to an announcement that the school system's making about the future of career and technical education across the county. It's no secret that the school system has seen a lot of interest in the Harrison Bay facility, renewed interest from East Hamilton, Central, Nutawa over there, and Chairman Eversole and Dr. Highlander's neck of the woods, and a lot of great plans for the career and technical facility up in Gino's territory. And so I think you'll learn more just about the systems plans in general, the way that career and technical facilities are being built out these days are modular in a sense that certain pathways, as the times and economy changes as fast as it is today, you don't want to design it in a way that can't easily be adjusted. But obviously we have models between the Career Construction Academy, Career Construction Center, and then the two larger career and technical facilities. They're older, but they're models, that will inform the way that we expect this facility to be adjusted. And then I would add, Commissioner Graham, to your offer to this body to go see the Pi Center, which is pretty extraordinary in Cleveland. That last week, I drove over to Williamson County to see a CTE center that is under construction there, and to understand in a very similar type partnership between county government and school system. Williamson County's doing a new facility that they got state funding for. And so that's another field trip that we're going to try to organize over the next few months for everybody to go see what models are being used. And Williamson County is in many ways the pace setter in education as it is.
Commissioner Mackey? Commissioner Graham, follow up?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, don't walk away there. I got a question for you. Something that's not being overlooked, but it's not being talked about is, with the Bend project, and they're gonna designate a 62,000 square foot building over there that's tall enough that I think they're gonna add another possibly 2 floors to. But and I don't think this is premature to say this. I've been brought in until they told me to talk about it. But there's a lot of video, advertising, music production. There's a lot of different venues that are in the entertainment business, like commercials and small movies and things of that nature, that are going to be produced right here at the Bend. It's going to be right there. That production studio is going to be right there in that building. And so that's something else that we need to capitalize on with this school, to show the young people that they can, they're already doing it in several of our schools. They're coming out of there making a very good living already at 18 years old, producing all kinds of different music videos, different kind of music venues. Different type of commercials. So there's a lot of technology, and I know EPB is going to ramp up to be able to handle a lot of that as well too. So that's something that we need to include in this building, but it's coming whether we brace for it or not. I would venture to say it's already here. Thank you. Mr. Mayor, would you agree?
Oh, certainly. And I think that's where you'll see schools across the district, even when the facilities aren't built for it, adapt to opportunities in the community and the market. So I would say, if anything, what Justin and his team will try to accomplish here is a facility that could serve needs of the community now, 5 years from now, 15 years from now, and build it so that the facility can be flexible.
Thank you, Mayor. Do we have any more lights? All right, that's it.
Commissioner Helton, do you need me next week, or am I good?
Gentlemen, do we need him back next week? Good. No, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Witt. That wraps up Building and Economic Development.
All right, let's roll into finance. Madam Clerk, 425-19, please.
Resolution 425-19, a resolution to revise the funding policy for the Hamilton County Employees Pension Plan, the Hamilton County Commissioners Pension Plan, and the Hamilton County Teachers Pension Plan.
Thank you, ma'am. Leah, I'm sure we need a little bit of cliff notes on this one.
Again, these are three small pension plans that we run independently. The vast majority of county employees, if not 100% of them now, are under TCRS. So this only applies to the Hamilton County Employees Pension Plan. Is a small plan that closed back in 1978 to new members. And the teacher's plan closed, I think, in like 1950. So there are very few people involved in those two plans. The commissioner's plan is the other one. But these pension plans, other than TCRS, the comptroller does a review of all the documents annually. They came back with a recommendation for a very, very, very minor wording change. It's in your packet. It's highlighted in red. It's to add, I can.
Clerical in nature, though.
It is entirely clerical in nature. So it's very minor. It's just something we need to clean up.
Commissioner Graham.
So, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, nothing's actually going to change. This is just a clerical issue. This is a little housekeeping, and then everything stays the same. Nothing's up, nothing's down, nothing's changing.
Correct.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Sir. Commissioner Beck, did you have a question, sir?
That includes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. That includes the commission pension
Yes.
as well.
Again, this is just a very, very minor clerical wording to each of the three pension plan documents. There is no change to any provision.
Okay, didn't we have a committee put together with you and Ms. Claire and Attorney Taylor? And we're supposed to pick some more people to talk about the commission pension plan. Is that, you remember we met back in the back about that? Revising the commission pension plan? We had a meeting back here.
Yes, I do remember. I believe, Attorney Taylor, if you remember doing anything with that, if you remember, this was for some changes that could take place with the next round of commissioners, the next election that, but I don't believe it has moved forward.
It was a plan that was supposed to take place. We were supposed to work on it, and it was supposed to take place the next time. But there's no work being done on it. It was, Commissioner Mackey was in that meeting, Ms. Claire, you and Attorney Taylor and myself. And I haven't heard any more about it. A long time now, maybe 2 years.
I don't.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
I'll go back and see if I find my notes on that. I just don't recall.
Commissioner, do you remember what the meeting was? Was it in a finance meeting? Was it in a?
No, it was just an ad hoc meeting back here with, maybe we can get a younger person who will remember. Ms. Claire, you remember that meeting? And do you remember the reason why we were meeting? And we were supposed to pick another person because there hadn't been a person added to it for many, many years.
The last thing I do recall was that Attorney Taylor was looking into changes that needed to be made.
That is not about what's in front of us, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so that's not this plan. Commissioner, can we follow up on that question?
We who? We who follow up on it?
Mr.
I'll go back and see what I have on that and where it was. I just don't remember. I don't remember right now. But I'll get with you and tell you.
Mr. Taylor, if you just send an email out to everybody, let us know, and so that somebody can pick up the ball and try to move it forward.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I'm thankful that at least there are some more people who are losing their mind.
It's not just you, sir.
Besides me.
All right, thank you. Just a moment. Commissioner Sharp, you had your light on first, sir.
Yeah, I did, sir. Thank you. If I may ask Lee a question, Chairman. I printed this resolution yesterday, but I didn't see anything print in red. Where's the language that was in red? And I might be looking at the wrong.
Yeah, let me find it real quick. It's in your
Yeah,
packet
where
on,
did
I think, page 80 was one of the areas where you can see the change in
Is
the
it
packet. But
just like a sentence or?
yes, I will get to there in just a second and I'll.
I grabbed my wrong glasses. I can't see them.
Commissioner, you mind if we keep moving while Lee looks that up?
No, that's fine. That's fine. Thank you.
Commissioner Mackey?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, there was to have been a committee formed and relative to the pension plan, and as Commissioner Beck said, nothing has been done in 2 years.
I'll have to defer to Chair on that one, sir. I'm not sure about a committee being formed.
I think the committee was Commissioner Mackey, Commissioner Beck. We put the Attorney Taylor, and you guys are supposed to meet and come back.
I think we're talking of two different things.
Okay, we may be. But there was a meeting that I remember that was a couple years, it's been a couple years ago. I don't know if it was under when Becker was the chair. Because
Is that the way you remember it? Okay.
We'll, Mr. Chairman, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, and again, if I remember, there were some legal matters that had to be resolved. It had to be, we had to have an election among
Right.
county employees who are covered under that plan. You know, one of the kickers was there are 0 employees that remain under that plan, so there was no one involved to do an election of members. I remember that was one of the legal issues, Ruben, we were looking at. And so, right, I'm not sure where that ended up. I think it was going to have to go back to the state to get some things changed, but.
I vaguely remember some of that. Remember doing something. It seemed like we prepared something, maybe even sent it, but we'll find out where it is.
Thank you. If you would let us know.
Okay, and if we can
Lee,
go
do you have an
back to
answer
the.
to Commissioner Sharp, sir?
Yes, if you'll go, if you can find page 80 in the attachment, it's basically under one of the provisions of the plan. It talks about post-retirement mortality, and they wanted the words added based on expected improvement in mortality. And that 1, 2, 3, 4, those 5 words were added to each of the plans. It was a recommendation from the state comptroller, and our actuaries agreed, and it's clear, it's entirely a clerical matter.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Commissioner Sharp, are you good, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, great. All right, seeing no lights, Madam Clerk, let's move on. 425-20, please.
Resolution 425-20, a resolution accepting the quotation from One Diversified LLC from the Omnia Partners Purchasing Cooperative for audio-visual equipment upgrades amounting to $67,938.30 and authorizing the county mayor to sign any contracts necessary to implement this resolution.
Sam Mars, Juvenile Court. Commissioners, this is a resolution basically to upgrade our audiovisual capabilities to keep tabs with what the district attorney office and the public defender and all the private attorneys are using now in much more complicated and technical cases. Just to kind of sum it up, the days of the yellow legal pad are kind of gone. And it has become, I wouldn't say common, but it's not unheard of for trials at the juvenile court to be delayed as we try and figure out some means by which to get the electronic proof, evidence, whatever, from an attorney's laptop to the judge, to the defendant, and to the prosecution. I'd be happy to answer any questions at this point. This money is budgeted, and approved by the county commission in the last budget year.
See no lights? I think we're good, Sam. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Madam Clerk, let's keep moving. 425-21, please.
Resolution 425-21, a resolution to relinquish Hamilton County's interest in a 2008 Ford Explorer with 100,260 miles and a 2008 second Ford Explorer with 163,337 miles, co-titled with Cell Creek Volunteer Fire Department.
Hey, Chief, same thing, past useful life?
Yes, sir.
All right. See no lights. The next one is similar, 425-22, please, Madam Clerk.
Resolution 425-22, a resolution to waive the procurement rules and authorize the county mayor to transfer 2 surplus vehicles to Hamilton County Stars Rescue.
Still no lights. Anything else to add, Chief?
No, sir.
All right, great. Thank you. 425-23, please.
Resolution 425-23, a resolution accepting the proposal from Zoll Data Systems, Inc. for an initial 3-year term to provide software and data solution services amounting to a total of $202,120 for the Emergency Medical Services Department ambulance billing services, and authorizing the county mayor to sign any contracts necessary to implement this resolution.
Thank you, ma'am. I see no lights, but I believe there has been some communication about this item moving around. Mr. Attorney, did you have a recommendation?
Yes, Commissioners. Our recommendation is, as you all remember, you asked our office to look at this contract. We've communicated with the attorney for Zoll, Z-O-L-L. Gotten some information from them, given them some of our recommendations about some changes to the contract, and they call it a business associate addendum, which is really a business associate agreement. And our recommendation, based on this commission's actions last week of hiring Baker Donaldson to look at our present system, is not to engage in this contract at the present time until you get an analysis of where our system presently is.
All right. Mr. Sharp, is that you, sir?
Yeah, Chairman, I just had a question. Attorney Taylor, you said your recommendation is that it's Baker Donaldson, or were they in agreement with that recommendation?
I'm sorry. Yes, sir. I did. I talked to Joe Connor yesterday. He did. He's in agreement with that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Good. All right. Thank you, Mr. Taylor. I see no further lights. We will take that one up next week. Madam Clerk, 425-24, please.
Resolution 425-24, a resolution approving the purchase of annual software maintenance for Inform RMS software amounting to $163,117.94 from Central Square Technologies LLC beginning June 1st, 2025 through May 31st, 2026 for the Sheriff's Office, and authorizing the county mayor to sign any contracts necessary to implement this resolution.
See no lights. 425-25, please.
Resolution 425-25, a resolution approving the service agreement for the existing fire systems at the Hamilton County Jail and Detention Center amounting to $60,000 from Johnson Controls from Sourcewell Purchasing Cooperative for the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, and authorizing the county mayor to sign any contracts necessary to implement this resolution.
See no lights. Ron, I'm not going to call you up here unless I see a light, unless you have something to add, sir. Okay. Madam Clerk, 425-26, please.
Resolution 425-26, a resolution approving the purchase of 5 vehicles amounting to $259,473 from Lonnie Cobb Ford LLC and Wilson County Motor Company from the state contract SWC 209 for the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, and authorizing the county mayor to sign any contracts necessary to implement this resolution.
Still no lights. Oh, excuse me. Commissioner Graham, did you have a question, sir?
Is this going back into our regular fleet, or is this drug money that's going to go into undercover cars, or?
Spencer Daniels, Sheriff's Office, 600 Market. This is going to be coming out of capital, budgeted capital, and it's for our existing fleet. These old vehicles, some of them are totaled out and some of them are just real nice. So this is going to go towards marketing.
Okay, so you're taking these vehicles out of circulation and putting the new ones in?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You bet. Thank you. All right. No further lights. Madam Clerk, 425-27, please.
Resolution 425-27, a resolution authorizing the county mayor on behalf of Hamilton County, Tennessee, the Health Services Division, operating as the Hamilton County Health Department, to sign an amendment to the contract with the Tennessee Department of Human Services to increase the amount of the contract not to exceed $92,840 and extend the contract by 1 year to conduct child care agency immunization audits in Hamilton County for a time period of October 1st, 2024 through September 30th, 2026.
No lights. 425-28, please.
Resolution 425-28, a resolution authorizing the county mayor to sign a reoccurring contract between the Tennessee Department of Health and Hamilton County, Tennessee, the Health Services Division, operating as the Hamilton County Health Department, to accept the annual contract funds from October 1st, 2025 through September 30th, 2026, in an amount not to exceed $444,300 for fiscal year 26 through fiscal year 27, to provide parents as teacher model services in accordance with the evidence-based home visiting program with the Department of Health's maternal, infant, and early childhood home visiting program.
Okay. Still no lights. Let's move on. 425-29, please.
Resolution 425-29, a resolution authorizing the county mayor to sign a continuation contract between the Tennessee Department of Health and Hamilton County Health Department for fiscal year July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026, and an amount not to exceed $1,171,400 to provide care coordination in accordance with the Department of Health's Community Health Access and Navigation in Tennessee model and guidelines.
All right. Still no lights. Looks good. Ms. Calvin, do you have anything to add to any of those previous 3 items?
No, sir, I do not.
Okay, thank you. Madam Clerk, let's do 425-30, please.
Resolution 425-30, a resolution to accept the proposal from McNabb Center to provide clinical services and support for the medication-assisted treatment pilot and reentry program in an amount not to exceed $175,000 for Hamilton County Economic and Community Development and the Sheriff's Office, and authorizing the county mayor to sign any contracts necessary to implement this resolution.
No lights. Ms. LaBeouf, anything to add?
I would just like to acknowledge that the Regional Vice President of the McNabb Center, Gail Lodato, has been an incredible partner. She's here today, and if there were any questions, she's available.
I don't see any lights, but we appreciate all that you do. Thank you. All right, Madam Clerk, 425-31.
Resolution 425-31, a resolution authorizing the county mayor to apply for a Tennessee Youth Employment Program grant from the Tennessee Department of Labor and Workforce Development in the amount of $400,000, requiring no match.
All right, thank you. Tucker, do you have something to add, sir?
Tucker McClendon, Deputy County Mayor, 625 Georgia Ave. Y'all got an email last night about this. This is a program that we've done since 2023. We've served 130 kids from 14 to 24, every high school, every college, every university. We currently have 20 interns in county government right now, and we've had over $270,000 in wages paid out to those students. So it's been a great program for the county. Prior to this, the county really never had interns and paid interns at that. It's all ran through our ECD department, which has done a fabulous job executing this. And this grant is a no-match grant, which will go through the next fiscal year for 80 students and is a no-match grant.
Great. Commissioner Highlander?
Thank you. This is economically based, is it not?
Yes, yes. So our students, we go after low income. They've really went after foster care students, that kind of stuff. So it can be to anyone, but that's the main focus of the program.
But it's a great program. I fully support it. Actually, many years ago, before you were around, Deputy Mayor, we had a federal program that covered that with several hundred kids, and I was an administrator of that. So it's an excellent program. Both the city and the county had that. Thank you very much. I will support it.
Commissioner Sharp?
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. I just want to say thanks, Tucker. Also, I've advocated for a internship program with the county for seven years. So I'm glad to see that you guys got this going. I appreciate the work that you do on it, and I look forward to supporting the resolution. Thanks, Chairman.
Commissioner Baker?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a great program. The reason I put my light on was
can't remember the email we got the other day, but I want a deeper dive. And I
The
never
federal
heard-
funding.
Yeah.
Yeah, so kind of waiting for everything to unfold to figure out what's going to happen with the federal funding. But we're on top of it. And as soon as guidelines come out from federal down to state, you know, how they're going to divvy up those funds.
Okay.
We're on top
Yeah,
of
if you
it
would
with
just
school
kind
system.
of communicate it back so that we're not sitting there hanging, waiting
Yep.
for something. Yeah, thanks.
All right, no further lights. Madam Clerk, 425-32, please.
Resolution 425-32, a resolution authorizing the county mayor to accept an award in the amount of $100,000 from the Community Foundation of Greater Chattanooga, requiring no match, to fund a Hamilton County administrative position for Hamilton County Civil Courts, and to amend the general session's fiscal year 2025 budgeted revenues and expenditures accordingly.
All right, thank you. Ms. Buff, anything to add?
Yeah, I'd like to acknowledge the CEO and president of the Community Foundation of Greater Chattanooga, Megan Jones, is here. She's been a wonderful leader in our community, as I'm sure you all know, and a good friend, and we're very thankful for the partnership that she's played with our courts, with the county. And if you had any questions, Judge Sells is here, as well as our Chief Court Administrator, Sean Johnson.
I don't see any light. Oh, I do now. Commissioner Sharp.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. Thank you all for being here. Megan, I appreciate you being here. Thank you for the contribution. I'm not sure exactly what this contribution is going to provide, but since you're bringing it, I know it's going to be great. Would you mind telling us a little bit about it?
Thank you, Commissioner. The grant award is for a position at the County General Sessions Court. Will report to the chief judge there and is responsible for implementing some of the leadership work that the court has been doing on making the civil debt collection and other processes more fair and transparent. This is part of the implementation of a law that was passed last year that will require debt buyers who sue in court to provide additional information about the original debt to those being sued. It's really increasing the fairness and transparency of the courts.
I was wondering if that might have something to do with this. That's great. I know you guys have been working on this for a long time, and I'm glad to see us implementing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and thank you to our judges.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Don't go anywhere quite yet. Commissioner Mackey?
Thank you, Chair. Alexa, who wrote these grants? Was it your department?
ECD partners with subject matter experts, departments across the county. Our role can vary. The depth that will go into the grants will vary, but we tend to just float around for support as needed.
I see 3 of them are no match grants.
Yes, sir.
Very good work. Thank you.
Yes, I like to bring you no match grants.
You know it.
We like you to.
Okay, I'll keep doing it.
Commissioner Baker?
Yeah, Alexa, nothing but no match grants. No, I'm kidding. Megan, it's great to see you here. Thanks for all the great work you do for our community. I happened to sit back there with Judge Sell, and she gave me the lowdown on the program. I think it's wonderful, and it's a 2-year program, so that's great. Look forward to hearing great results. But thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Highlander?
Thank you, Chairman. Megan, thank you. We do so much appreciate what you do. You do a wonderful job. And Judge Sell, thank you for what you do. And I want to thank your mother for raising you so well and commend her. She is a good friend of mine, and I think the world of her and do commend her for the input that she's made on your life. Thank you.
Good, sir. All right, I see no further lights. I wouldn't expect there's any need to be back next week unless you just like to be here when we do hear this item. But thank you so much for being here and all that you do. Ms. Buff, that's the last item in
Sure.
finance. Was your, oh, excuse me, just 1 second. Commissioner Mackey.
You know, I hope you fully appreciate the work they are doing. At one point, it was costing us $110,000 a day. But because of what they're doing, they're helping Hamilton County taxpayers in a wonderful way. And so thank you for what you're doing. Keep it up.
All right, thank you, sir. Everything
keep
Judge
people
Sell
in
touches
jail
turns
every
out to be a good thing for us. So thank you so much for all that you do. All right, with that, we are done with finance. I believe zoning is taking place in the back now, so we will adjourn to legal. Thank you, everybody.